Hey YouTube, we are at the Gore, Virginia. This is also referred to as the Cove. Sometimes it's referred to as the Big Dogs event, but this is not a Big Dogs event. This is just our Jeeps out here with permission, and we're out here. And this is like one of my legacy content. This is stuff from a couple years ago. So we're on 35s and our JK, the white JK that we have. So I know that I said in the last video this is a black trail. I don't think it's a black trail. I think it's going to end up being more like a blue trail. And unfortunately, I don't know the trail number or the trail name or even where this trail is at Gore. I just know that I found the video footage, and I'm going to post video footage and try to talk through what's going on. So this is near the end of the day. I know that because of the numbers of the video, whatever, they're all numbered off or whatever. And I know for a fact that we had already done V-Notch and we all had already done Corum Special, which are the two trails that I know that the Jeep Club really wanted to do that were the more difficult trails. And I also know that there was quite a few mechanical problems today. So I know that the red Jeep has already replaced his axle. He broke the axle and had to do, well, like, we were in the campground for a couple hours while he was doing that or whatever. And then I know that the YJ lost a tire, and I know that we rebeaded the tire while we were in the campground also. So, you know, that's 2 out of 5 Jeeps, you know, had a major mechanical problem already today. So I'm pretty sure that that this is pretty much just us kind of coasting. And I don't know if Cherokee is with us. I can't really see his Jeep, but I know that he actually broke his ring and pinion, which, like, that's a big deal. And no, he's with us. I see him up there in front of us. So maybe he has not broken his ring and pinion yet. No, that's not him. That's a red Jeep. But I know that he broke his ring and pinion, so, you know, that's not a good sign. Like when you have like 5 Jeeps and like one of them has an axle problem, one of them has a ring and pinion, and then the other one has a tire. Majority of the Jeeps had a mechanical problem while we were out here. Fortunately for us, we did not have any kind of mechanical problem or breakage or issue. And yeah, they went to the right and I went to the left. I think at this point, because they were having so many mechanical problems, that they were more like on coast mode, like taking the bypasses and stuff, and maybe just giving me direction on, hey, there's rocks over there, go over there, because I was probably still eager beavering it, wanting to go through some bigger rocks, and they were just wanting to just like relax, basically is what I'm thinking. Because you can see that they all went around to the right. They didn't even go under this tree. And I'm not like the only one over here, so. And that's the thing to keep in mind. I mean, when you go out, I mean, it's like pick your own poison. You don't necessarily have to follow the Jeep in front of you. I mean, you need to keep like your eyes on them or whatever, but you don't have to follow their exact tire tracks. You don't have to go over the same rocks they went over. If they went on the left side of a tree, if it's fair game, you can go on the right side of the tree. In a national park, it's a little bit different. You have to tread lightly or whatever, and be much more conservative on where you go and staying on established trails. But when you're in a like a commercial off-road park like this, a lot of times there's multiple paths to pick from. And other people have already done it. So there's like multiple, like there's a bypass way, and there's a little bit of a harder way, and then there's even more difficult way. And even if the 3 Jeeps in front of you took the bypass, that doesn't mean that you have to take the bypass. I mean, you could seem like a mega jerk if like you went the hard way and got stuck and held up the whole group for like a couple hours. But you know, that doesn't happen most of the time. Most of the time, it's just a matter of, you know, choosing your line, or choosing like what you want to do. If you look at the flagpole footage, there were some rocks that we were playing on. I think the label was like steps. And you'll see that like most of the Jeeps went over the steps. A couple of them bypassed it, but of the people that did go over the steps, almost every single Jeep that went over the steps did a slightly different line, or went up a slightly different way. So the rocks that we just went over, I think that was the most difficult area on this trail that we're on. I think the rest of this is green, so like if you're watching the video and you're expecting to see like crazy intense like rock crawling or something like that what you just saw is like what you're gonna get. I think that the rest of the day at Gore is actually pretty easy peasy, and after we had those two very intense trails. And that's what you see, like volume-wise. Also, if you are newer to jeeping, the volume goes along with the difficulty. So the easier the trails are that you go on, the higher the volume is. And like when we were at Windrock, I had a side-by-side, and I think we did like 50 miles in one day, like of off-road. But that was because we were going on stuff the side-by-side could go on. And I mean, I know the side-by-sides are like pretty powerful and everything, they're pretty badass, but still, like, the wheels are tiny on a side-by-side next to a Jeep, so you don't usually rock bounce over like humongous rocks like on the side-by-side. You go fast on flatter terrain. And so with a side-by-side and a Jeep, which is a weird combination, I know, we did 50 miles that day, because the terrain was like easier than if you look at the average day of doing like blues with moderately geared Jeeps. And look, I'm stuck. Wow. Anyway, sorry. Like, and the whole the tips I always give, like, you back up, you turn the wheel, like, it doesn't matter left or right, you go forward, and then like you get unstuck. See, that works 50% of the time, and I couldn't even see what I was stuck on. You back up a foot or two, you turn the wheel, and then like left or right, and then like that will make it so the obstacle moves a foot or two to the left or the right, and then like you get over it. So anyway, the average group on blues does hopefully somewhere between 10 to 15 miles a day. The average group doing greens, I would get upset if I didn't get at least 15 miles if I was like in a green group. And the only reason I can see it being less than 15 is if you have like a whole bunch of people that are like absolutely 100% brand new, and they're stopping to like chit chat like nonstop, or they have to get spotted through every single rock. But a green group that is moving pretty good with very few problems, they should easily get 15 miles. Now, if you're in a black group like this, it's because the trails are so much more difficult, and you're going to be getting stuck so much and winching so much and everything. You might expect to only get 2 trails or 3 trails in a day. Like that's sort of normal, and it's not normal to get like a lot of trails in, doing blacks. Now there are exceptions to the rule. I mean, like me and Eric went out on my birthday. It was like last year, and I think we did like every black and every blue on like one half of AOAA in one day. But there was only 2 of us. Like, we didn't have anybody else to spot, and I only got stuck in one spot going downhill because I didn't like line up the Jeep it was like lower anthracite, it was such a black, but I got stuck into one spot, and it was just I was sitting on my tie rod, and we wanted to back me off it so I didn't damage it. So one like winching the whole day, and we did all the trails. Where the snow ride was another good example where I was guiding that day, and we did all the blues on the one side except for Excelsior Swamp, and we had time to do it. It's just we didn't want to do it because that trail is just like the swamp. And I can link in the corner also, like a bit to link to that video if anybody's interested. So anyway, enough on that. Like that, just so you know. I mean, like I was saying, the difficulty determines like how far you go, like how many miles you can make it typically. So from looking at this, I mean, this is definitely harder than the Flagpole Trail, the current trail that we're on right now. It's even harder than like Union Springs, that Flagpole. But by no means is this like an impossible trail. And if I would have stayed on the other part of the trail that the other Jeeps were on, like the rocks that I went over and everything, those obstacles wouldn't have been there even at all either. So, we will be, hopefully, at Big Dog's Icebreaker in April, and hopefully the event doesn't get canceled. We don't know yet. I actually asked them, and they said that they're just monitoring it. It's too far out to really start canceling events that are that far out. But if the event is going on and if everything is all good, we will be at the Big Dogs Icebreaker, and I know that quite a few people from Infidel Jeepers of Virginia will hopefully be there also. And being that this is one of the events that's like in their backyard, that's in their state, it would be really awesome to see them there. But you know, we'll see. I mean, everybody has to make their own decisions on you know, where they want to go and what they want to do and stuff like that. So this content is, though, very similar to Roush Creek and AOAA, if you've not been to those two parks, and it's similar to famous riding, or FRO, and we'll post some famous riding content also. So with famous riding, you have to buy an annual pass. You can't just like buy a day pass. So because of that, I go there a lot less frequently. If you go out with offroad consulting can guide you around there with like a daily fee. But unfortunately, they almost always go over the same area FRO. They don't go to the other areas. And FRO is huge. It covers like 3 different counties. But the tracts of land are kind of like widely separated out. So it's hard to find like one full day's worth of wheeling in any one given spot. You might find like a couple hours of fun in one spot without repeating, and then a couple hours somewhere else, and then a couple hours somewhere else. And it's no fun to have to pack up and like, you know, drive like 30 minutes to get to the next spot. So anyway, please like and subscribe. Subscriptions are really important, and we will see you in the next video. So thank you.